Hello crochet friends, welcome back to Crazy Cool Crochet. In this project we are working on the multicolor granny square top, and we are using the Willow square. Beautiful, beautiful granny square. And this will give us a very lightweight, airy, summery top. And we are using Yarn Bee Caterina. The color I'm using here is Saturday Siesta. It's a number 3 lightweight. For size small, I'm using a G hook or a 4.25 millimeter. Now what's going to be unusual about this pattern is we will be using a different size hook depending on the size that you are making. So this is why I'm showing 2 hooks here. For example, size medium, we're going to use an H hook. But in order to get all the information and the detail, you have to click below into the description area. So make sure you open that up. You have to click where it says show more, or it might show a little bitty arrow, a little tiny arrow next to where it says Crazy Cool Crochet. Click either one of those depending on your device, and it opens up the description area where I've got a lot more detail, including all my social media links, the link to crazycoolcrochet.com, where you will also find the written pattern. For a size small, we are using the G hook, 4.25 millimeter, and we're going to start with a chain of 5. Leave a 3 or 4 inch tail. And then join into the first chain with a slip stitch to form a ring. Now hold on to that tail as you are working around the ring so that it incorporates into the stitches. So we are going to start with a chain 3 and then work 15 double crochets into that center, into the ring. When you are done with your 15 double crochets, join with a slip stitch into the top of that beginning chain 3, and chain 4. Now you are going to double crochet into the next chain, not into the same stitch where your starting chain is, into that first actual chain. Double crochet and then chain 1, now into the very next chain, double crochet and chain 1, and then keep going around. You are going to enter a double crochet and a chain 1 into each chain below, and the last one is number 15. We'll go into that last chain, and you are entering under the 2 strands that make up that chain. Now to join the row, slip stitch into the 3rd chain of that beginning chain 4. Now for row 3, we're going to chain 3. Now we're going to enter 2 double crochets into that first space. Then 1 double crochet on top of or into that double crochet below. And then 2 double crochets into that chain 1 space. And then again, 1 double crochet on top of or into the double crochet below, and continue around in that pattern. Now you end the row with 2 double crochets into that last space. And that should give you 47 double crochets. Now join with a slip stitch into the top of that beginning chain, chain 5. Now skip 2 chains and single crochet into the 3rd chain. 1, 2, 3. Chain 3. Skip 2 chains, single crochet into the 3rd chain. Chain 4. Skip 2, single crochet into the 3rd chain. Chain 3. Skip 2 chains, single crochet into the 3rd. Now chain 5. Skip 2 chains, single crochet into the 3rd. Chain 3. Skip 2, single crochet into the next. Chain 4. Skip 2, single crochet into the next. Chain 3. Skip 2, single crochet into the next. Repeat that pattern. Chain 5. Skip 2, single, chain 3, skip 2, single in the next, chain 4, skip 2, single in the next, chain 3, skip 2, single in the next, chain 5. Now you end with a chain 3. There was the chain 5, 4, 3, single, and then chain 3 again. Now you are going to join with a slip stitch into the base of where we started the row. Rather than into a chain, we're going into the base with a slip stitch. Now those chain 5s are forming corners. Now we're going to continue by going directly into the next space with a double crochet. We're going to do 5 double crochets. And then chain 3, and then 5 more double crochets in the same space. We're forming that corner. Now we're going to single crochet into that first space, which was a 3 chains, and then 7 double crochets into that chain 4 space, And now single crochet into that next space, the chain 3. Now we're going to do the next corner with the 5 double crochets, chain 3, 5 double crochets. Now a single crochet into that next space, and then 7 double crochets into the next space, single crochet into the next space, and then form another corner with the 5 double crochet, chain 3, 5 double crochet, and then keep going around. Single crochet into the next space, 7 doubles into the next, single crochet into the next, then your corner. And then we'll meet up again over here. Okay, now to end the last edge, we're going to enter the single crochet into that last space. Now we're going to slip stitch into the stitch below. Okay, you can see where we've worked the corners again. Now we will continue with a chain 7. Now we're going to go all the way over into the corner and do a single crochet, and then chain 3, another single crochet in the same space, now chain 4. Now we're going to double crochet into that single crochet way over here. Double crochet into the single crochet. Now chain 3. Now we're going to work a single crochet into the 4th chain of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what we're doing is working that single crochet into the center of that cluster. Now chain 3, double crochet into that single crochet below, chain 4. Now we're back into the corner, 1 single crochet, chain 3, another single crochet in the same space. Now chain 4, double crochet into the single crochet below, chain 3, single crochet into the 4th chain or into the center of this cluster, chain 3, double crochet into the single crochet below, then chain 4, and repeat the pattern. So you're into the corner here, single crochet, chain 3, single crochet, continue around. At the end of that row, you worked your single crochet into that last cluster, chain 3, and now we're going to join into the 3rd chain of this beginning chain 7 with a slip stitch. Now for row 7, we're going to slip stitch into this next space. Chain 3. Now work 4 double crochets into that same space. Now we're going into that little bitty corner. We're going to do 3 double crochets. Chain 3 and 3 double crochets again in the same space. So there we've worked a corner. And now we're going to do 5 double crochets into the next space. 3 double crochets in the next, 3 double crochets in the next, 5 in the last of that row. We'll start with 5, and then 3 into the next space, three double crochets into the next space, 5 into that last space. Now we're going to repeat into that corner, 3 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets in the same space. Now continue around, 5 double crochets, 3 double crochets, 3 double crochets, 5 double crochet. Work your corner and continue around. We ended that last row with the 3 double crochets into that last space. So we had our corner, 5 double crochet, 3 double crochet, 3 double crochet. Now we join with a slip stitch into that beginning chain. Then you'll want to chain just to lock it all in, and that is the completed square. Now to finish this off, you did the 1 chain. I like to do 2. Leave about a 4-inch tail, 4 to 5 inches, then cut it off. Bring the yarn through, squeeze it down to knot it. Now you'll want to weave in that tail using a yarn needle. Now, because this is a multicolor, whatever color you end up with here in your tail, that's where you want to incorporate it in the row. So as you can see, here's the purple and green, which we've got in the tail. So don't weave it into the orange and yellow, or pink and yellow. So I'm going to turn it upside down just to make it easier. And then all you're going to do is weave in your yarn needle into that chain at the top as many times as you're comfortable, and then bring that through. You can see where it's all hidden in there, and then cut that off. Okay, so for the size small, we are going to make 6 of these squares, total of 6. 3 for the front panel, 3 for the back panel. Now if you are going to make a size medium, you want to use an H hook, and you're going to make the 6 squares, 3 for the front, 3 for the back. If you're making a size large, you want to use the G hook, and you're going to make 8 squares, 4 for the front, 4 for the back. And for an extra large to 1X, you're going to go back to the H hook. You're going to make 8 squares. 4 for the front, 4 for the back. Now remember, you can get the written instructions when the pattern is ready at the blog, crazycoolcrochet.com. Okay, now we're going to attach 3 of the squares. This is for the size small. And I found that the best way to do this with this particular yarn is using the yarn needle and the length of yarn. Now I want to insert the needle into the corner of that corner space, into the chain, and then the same with the corresponding chain on the other side. We're grabbing 2 strands of yarn. It's actually 1 strand, but because this yarn uses 2 strands of yarn, it looks like 2 strands. And so pull it through. I like to tie with a knot to secure it, and this will all be hidden because we will continue putting stitches into both ends. Now working with the inside loops of the chain, these loops here, and each chain down, going to grab those loops and then we're essentially using a whip stitch. Okay, so as you can see, we're not grabbing the entire chain. It's just the inside loops. And don't squeeze it too tight. You don't want this to buckle. Okay, so just continue that seaming all the way till you get to the corner, and then do the same with the next panel. When you get to the end of that seam, before you tie it off, it might be easier, go ahead and flip it over so the wrong side is facing you, to go ahead and weave in your ends as long as you've already got your yarn needle and the yarn. So just go ahead and weave in and out, in and out. Just these top strands, don't be going under, don't go into the front. And then come back around, just for extra stability. And if you want to be even more fanatical, all right, I'm kidding. If you want to be more careful, you can go ahead and do it a third time around. And that is going nowhere. So now we go ahead and cut it off. Okay, now that we have got our 3 squares attached, we are going to start working on the bottom piece. Okay, so now we're going to attach our yarn at the corner, front facing you. Okay, now we're going to attach the yarn into the corner, into the chain of the corner. Chain 3. Now we're going to do a double crochet, 1 in each of the next 2 chains. Chain 1. Now skip the next chain on the bottom and double crochet in the next 3 chains, 1 in each. Chain 1, skip the next chain, double crochet 1 in each of the next 3 chains. Chain 1, skip 1, and keep going across in that pattern. Now when we get to the end, again, chain, skip a chain, work your double crochets, and then end with a double crochet into the chain, the turning chain. Or actually, it's the corner chain. If you get to the corner chain, and you find that you don't have the exact amount of chains to complete those 3, just go ahead and do what you need to do so that your last double crochet is into the corner. If you need to skip another chain down here, that's fine. Now, when you get to a seam, again, just follow your instincts. Go ahead and enter the double crochet into the seam, and then skip your chain after the 3. Just work it out. Again, this is a very casual pattern. And remember, crochet is an art, it's not a science. Okay, now chain 5 and turn. Now you are going to single crochet into that first chain 1 space and chain 4. Single crochet into the next chain 1 space and chain 4. Oops. And stay with that pattern across the row. At the end of that row, you're going to enter your last single crochet into the turning chain, and then chain 5, and then turn. Now you'll repeat entering your single crochets into the big spaces. Oops. Chain 4, single crochet into the next space, and continue across. At the end of that row, you'll enter your last single crochet into the turning chain, chain 3, and turn. Now enter a double crochet into that space, the first space, chain 1, enter a double crochet into the next space, chain 1, double crochet into the same space, chain 1, and repeat. Double crochet into the next space, chain 1, double crochet in the same space, chain 1, and continue across. When you get to that last space, double crochet into that last space, chain 1, and double crochet into the turning chain. Now chain 2. Single crochet into the first space, chain 1, single crochet into the next space, chain 1, single crochet into the next space, chain 1, single crochet into the next space, chain 1, and continue across. At the end of the row, you will single crochet into the last space, chain 1, single crochet into the turning chain, then chain 3, turn. Now you're going to enter a double crochet into the first chain 1 space, double crochet into the single crochet, chain 1. Now you're going to skip that next chain 1 space, enter a double crochet into the next single crochet, double crochet into the next chain 1 space, double crochet into the next single crochet, chain 1. We're working on little clusters or sets of 3 double crochets with a skipped space in between. Okay, so now skip that chain 1 space, double crochet into the next single crochet, double crochet in the next chain 1 space, double crochet in the next single crochet, chain 1, skip the next chain 1 space, double into the next single, double into the next chain 1 space, double into the next single, chain 1, and then continue across in that pattern. At the end of that row, you'll enter your double crochet into the single crochet. You're skipping that chain 1. Double crochet into the space before the turning chain. Double crochet into the turning chain. That way you've got your cluster of 3 at the end. And chain 5. So you will have had the same number of sets of the 3 double crochets as you had for that first row. So now we're just going to repeat row 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we will end with row 6, which was the 3 doubles, the space 3 doubles. And again, this is actually the bottom. So when we turn this around, this is the bottom. And then the top panel will attach up here. All right, now for the top panel and the sleeves. Okay, that's all one long panel. It does not even fit in the shot. Okay. Okay, so that would be, for example, the one sleeve, and then the body, and the other sleeve. All one long panel. So for size small, and we are working in multiples of 4 plus 5. when you go to work your other sizes. And we are doing the same pattern as we did for the bottom of the squares. Right now for the long panel, you will start with a chain of 205, and you'll start with a double crochet in the fourth chain from the hook. So skip 1, 2, 3, do a double crochet in the fourth chain, then a double crochet in the next chain, chain 1, skip the next chain, double crochet in each of the next 3, chain 1, skip a chain, and then continue in that pattern, and you will be making 2 of these long panels. Okay, now this is just showing the placement of the 4 panels. Okay, so you can see the neck opening right there. Okay, now we're going to work on the shoulder and sleeve seams. This is the neck opening. We've got wrong sides up, and I've marked with the stitch markers the ending points, or the starting point, however you want to look at it. Now you want to find your center and then decide how long you want the opening. So for myself, 9 inches. And this design does call for a bit of a wider opening, and we will use a yarn needle length of yarn. I'm going to start on the bottom of the sleeve, and I'm using a whip stitch, just a simple whip stitch. Now you will be, as you are working along, matching your sets of double crochets. Just enter your needle into the corner of both panels, bring it through. I like to tie the ends, so now all you're going to do is seam through the 2 strands of each panel. And just keep seaming across until you get to your stitch marker, and then tie it off and do the other side. Okay, now we are going to attach the bottom panel to the top panel. So this is the body. You'll find your center point to the top panel, and the shoulder, the neck opening is right up there. And this is front facing up, right side facing up. And I'm going to use the same technique I used for attaching the squares. So find your center point on both panels, and then start attaching from that end and working your way up. And then of course do the other side. And just to be clear, the squares is what is being attached up here, and then this is the bottom. Now we're going to seam the side of the body and the bottom of the sleeve. And you'll just use a regular whip stitch, go around, and you are working with the wrong side facing up. Okay, now I want to show you the finished top. And for the long panel, for a size small, we repeat, or we work, rows 1 through 5, and then we end with row 6, the double crochets. Now this is for a size small, And on the table, it actually looks like a child-sized top. But this will stretch quite a lot. As a matter of fact, I actually made this originally 19 inches long, which is the length that I wanted for myself, and that would hit me right at the hip bone, which is exactly what I was going for. After it was all done, I put it on, and it was so long. It stretched so much that it looked absolutely ridiculous, and then the underarm did not work, so I had to frog back quite a bit of this panel. So on the table, this measures 16 inches from shoulder to bottom, but when I put it on, it stretches down to 19 inches, which is exactly where I wanted it. So do keep that in mind when you are making yours, that this will stretch quite a lot.